Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the new Tier 8 Italian battleship Lepanto. So with that being said, let's look at our commander. Do not forget, we are on the path to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed and you enjoy what I do and you enjoy the daily content, what are you waiting for? Join our journey to 50,000 subscribers. Now, we're running Paolo de Revel as our commander. We've got Haruna and Franz von Hipper as our secondary inspirations. We have Not One for the Nuisance, Porcupine, Firefighter, and Master Mechanic, as well as Fight Fire with Fire as our perks. For equipment, we are running Secondary Battery Mod 2. We are running aiming systems, or no, not aiming system, I'm stupid. Steering gears mod 2, good lord. We are running target acquisition mod, and we are running secondary battery mod 3. We are fully upgraded, and we're running Italian Unity flag and the European camo. With this build, we get 6 repair parties, we get 3 exhaust smokes, and we have 3 enhanced secondary targeting boosters. I chose the boosters because getting up close and personal and watching these SAP secondaries do their job can be a lot of fun. Survivability, 75,900 hit points with a 51% torp reduction, which is fantastic. Artillery, you get 381 millimeters, 50 caliber, 1934 guns. You get 12 of them in a 3x4 configuration. The downside of having quad guns is you have like the longest reload on the planet. Your firing range, because we're not building for accuracy or dispersion or range, is only 17.2 kilometers. And the reload is abysmal, 31.6 seconds. These are only 15-inch guns, which means you don't overmatch pretty much anything at the tier. And on top of that, like you have like just the worst reload. The 180-degree turn time is only 30 seconds. It feels longer than that. It almost feels like twice as long. I'm not joking. Seems like these guns, every time you need them to be somewhere, they're in the wrong position. But they do have the opportunity to fire HE. They do not have SAP, unfortunately. But HE maximum fire chance is 24% with a 5,800 maximum HE shell damage. And then the AP is pathetic at a 12,000 damage for maximum on AP. Secondary armament, you get 90mm 50 caliber auto 1939s. You get 24 of those, reaching out to 9.4 kilometers with this build and reloading in 2.8 seconds. They fire SAP with a maximum damage of 2,000. And then the 152mm 55 caliber auto 1936s, you get 18 of those, reaching out to 9.4 kilometers and reloading in just 4 seconds, which is insane. And they fire SAP as well, with a maximum damage of 3,800. AA defense, not a lot, but enough that you can potentially do some damage. 20mm 70 caliber Beretta 1941s, you get 32 times 3 would be 96. 96 of them, doing 99 damage per second, but they only reach out to 2 kilometers, so very short range. 37mm 54 caliber Beretta 1938s, you get 16 of those, doing 93 damage per second and reaching out to 3.5 kilometers. Then you have the 37mm 54 caliber Beretta 1939 dual purpose secondaries. You get 32 of those, doing 153 damage per second and reaching out to 3.5 kilometers. And then the 90mm 50 caliber auto 1939, you get 24 of those, doing 162 damage per second, reaching out to 4 kilometers. Maneuverability, maximum speed of 29.5 knots with a turning circle of 910 meters. Rudder shift is 13.3 seconds with this build. Concealment. It's going to be bad because we are not running the concealment mod. We're running a guaranteed acquisition. But detectability by sea is 14.8. Detectability by air is 12.4. Guaranteed detectability is 2. And detectability while firing in smoke is 14.2. Statistics. As you can see, we have a high win rate in this ship, and that's basically because every time I play the ship, I'm super aggressive, I win my side, and then I die. Main gun accuracy is abysmal, 36%. These guns are not good when it comes to running a full secondary build. We are running a full secondary build, so keep that in mind. But we've played 7 battles, we've won 6 of them, okay? We've only survived 2 of them. So that tells you everything you need to know. Average damage is actually not that bad with 104,000 average damage. Our average XP is actually pretty solid as well with a 1900 base XP there, and then a 1.2 million damage potential as well on average. Armor. It says that it's better than it actually is in practice. So let's talk about it. We have 32mm bow plating, obviously. So Yami does still overmatch you. It does have a little bit of an icebreaker bow. It is 60mm, but it's very small. So anybody that shoots at you with Yami guns, Musashi, Yami, if they aim at you, they're likely to go through the front of your ship unless they're going straight for the waterline at close range. So keep that in mind. Also, if you over-angle this thing, you get absolutely punished for it. And then I'll talk about the rear of the ship in a moment. You definitely do not want to get caught in the rear. Now, it has a slight turtleback armor, but it's nothing to write home about. The turtleback will not save you ever in the ship. You're going to get punished. So do not go broadside. Like I said, very, very minimal turtleback. Okay. Here's the Citadel, though. Slightly raised, or right at the waterline, whichever way you want to see it. But the issue isn't so much when you go broadside you get punished from a Citadel. It's going to go through the bow side plating, and you can see that the Citadel is quite wide. So it's very easy to access the Citadel with shots coming through the bow side plating, and especially from the rear. As you can see, there's a bit of a lower deck for the flight deck on the ship. And what happens is shells coming in from plunging fire hit that flat armor and go straight into your Citadel. So keep that in mind. If you're running away in this ship, you're doing it wrong, and you will be punished. Also, same sort of promise at the back of the map, or at the back of the ship. If they go through the back rear side plating, they're going to punish your Citadel as well. This is really the only time that I've been Citadeled in this ship is when I'm like kind of kiting away from a side, or if I'm getting shot from the rear. Those are the times that I get Citadeled in this ship. Otherwise, it's not too bad, but it does take a lot of penetrations because other than that, the armor is pretty flat, as you can see. It's kind of like Kansas and Minnesota in that regard. While it does have decent armor, it's so flat that it tends to take a lot of penetrations. However, guns aplenty. High number of main guns, so you get a 12-gun broadside. Nimble aim, that's a lie. I mean, it's not bad. It's 30 seconds, but it's average at best, so I don't know why they consider that a perk of this ship. An exhaust smoke generator can dispense a smoke screen, which is fantastic. Of course, it's the Battleship smoke too, so it lasts a little bit longer. If you can hold back firing your guns and you have spotting, the secondaries on this ship are a meme, if you can use them. Lepanto, a further development of the Vittorio Veneto class battleships, with her main battery guns housed in quadruple gun turrets. She was designed 1943, never built. But, other than that, I mean, it's not a particularly good-looking ship. It's not the worst-looking ship in the world, but I hate quad turrets. I really do. Like, I just don't like them. They don't look good. Plus, this weird superstructure, I don't like either. But other than that, it's decently effective. I wouldn't necessarily recommend going all out on secondaries. If you can find, like, if there was a hybrid build for these Italian battleships, like, then maybe. But you give up a lot to use the secondaries, and while it can be fun to use the secondaries, in practice, it's difficult at Tier 8 and Legendary Tier to get close enough to utilizing the secondaries enough to make it worth it. So with all of that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to be on Sea of Fortune, and we are in the Lepanto. Is it Lepanto, or is it just Lepanto? Somebody's going to have to let me know down in the comments below. Now, we are spawning mid-spawn, and I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't really enjoyed this ship. I've built it out specifically for the memes, the secondaries, so maybe I'll come back and I'll build it for a full dispersion build and just see what it feels like, if that feels better for me. Because I feel like with the volume of fire that you're putting out with this thing, it is a 12-gun broadside. The downside is it's 12 guns, but they're 15 inches at Tier 8. So not the best, if I'm honest. And you add on to that we are built for secondaries, and it can be really difficult to get these secondaries working at this high a tier. Fortunately, we got a game that's going to pretty much be perfect case scenario for this particular ship. The only downside is they do have a carrier, which is never a fun experience if you end up in a position where you're going to be focused by said carrier. But that being said, we're going to be hyper aggressive, as you guys would expect, and we're going to try to get these secondaries rolling. Because I'll be honest, when it gets going, these secondaries can be absolutely brutal. They really can. It doesn't matter who's on the receiving end, these secondaries are going to chip away at you very quickly. The fast fire rate, the accuracy, and the fact that it's SAP is pretty disgusting when it decides to get going. I haven't tried it with an epic secondary mod yet. You guys will have to let me know if that's something you want me to try at some point. I'm going to guess that you guys do want me to try that at some point. Also, don't forget, we still are waiting for the 1,000 likes on our video the other day of the Justinian Lions video for the, what was it? It was the Atlantico. It was the Hernandez and Justinian Lions video. I'll leave a link to that video down in the description. If you guys want to see the insane double Atlantico mid-push on two brothers, I highly recommend you guys go over, give that thing a like. We got to get to 1,000 likes before I show that video clip for you guys. If you guys want to see it, highly recommend. Now here you can see I'm looking for a potential opportunity. We've got torpedoes right off my bow. We've got a destroyer who is smoking up and not going to do his job, because why would he? Destroyers don't want to do that, right? It's an Akazuki, for God's sakes. He can't go after other destroyers. That would be crazy talk. Now here, I thought I was going to dodge this, but unfortunately I took it right on the belt, so 10,000 damage dealt. Not ideal. But I was really looking forward to getting these secondaries. You can see some of the secondaries are firing straight over the bow at the Awami. We're already landing some hits. We take a pretty nasty salvo from the left as well. And that's where the Udachi pops up. And I'm not going to lie, I was feeling pretty confident here. Now, obviously, Udachi gets reload booster. We take another one right on the belt, 10,000 damage. And we're going to try to go forward. Now, we've got the smoke going, which allows us to push forward. But at the same time, this is going to allow the Udachi to get away for the moment, which is not ideal. He drops his smoke, runs away. You would think that our carrier would have any sort of intentions of trying to help us over the middle here, having the fact that we literally had a destroyer spotted. But, of course, why would a carrier do his job either? Carrier can go attack battleships, right? That's what they do. But we're going to be shooting down quite a few planes in this fight. As well, because we are very close to the enemy carrier, and so we're going to put ourselves in probably the best possible position for this particular ship in this game. You can see Pobeda is dropping our smoke screen, but he's dropping behind. For a pro tip for you guys, if you're trying to hit somebody in a smoke screen, especially a rolling smoke, you got to go for the lead of the smoke. If I'm going forward, you want to drop towards the front of the smoke screen. You don't want to drop in the middle, because I'm still going forward. Obviously, he comes over the top of the island and drops right on top of me with skip bombs. I still think that skip bombs should not be allowed to arm if they're dropped straight on a target. I think you should have to skip them. That's the whole freaking point of the goddamn things. But here you can see we get a 12-gun broadside, and we only hit 4 shells, and only 3 of them did any sort of damage to that carrier, which is real unfortunate. But again, we are built specifically for secondaries, and it's at this point the Udachi's like, I'm coming to get you, and unfortunately he's going to run face first into our Akazuki, and that's going to end very badly for him. As we get very close to getting reloaded, our secondaries are doing their thing, and right as we fire, he actually gets his torps away. He does end up killing our Akazuki, which is ridiculously bad. Losing our destroyer in that fight is never a good thing, but a trade is a trade. Getting one destroyer off the board is always a good thing, and especially a Udachi, it's never going to be a bad thing. Smallland has taken a lot of damage over there on that side as well. He's going for our carrier. We have a battleship back there as well as our destroyer. We've got Azure Lane, New Jersey pushing up. We also have an Awami getting ready to yellow rush us. So I don't want to go around the corner here. So you can see I'm in full reverse. I'm waiting, trying to get an opportunity to maybe shoot this New Jersey. If we can get a shot around this island with the front guns, you'll see me try to use the front guns, and of course the game's like, no, you want to use the rear gun, right? So by the time I get the freaking camera to go to the front gun, it's too late. I can no longer shoot the guy. It's really, really unfortunate. You can see we just shoot straight through the island, so none of those shells are going to do anything. But, yeah, it's one of the more frustrating things about this game. It isn't like on PC where you can choose which turrets you want to, like, look through. You have to, like, go into the gun mode and see which one you're on, and then you can kind of use the camera to select your front turrets. But, yeah, it's really frustrating at times. But here you can see I was looking at potentially getting this Pobeda, but I don't have a shot at him. Our battleship is right there. Right? Like, our battleship is legitimately right there. You'd think he'd be able to smack that freaking Pobeda around, but unfortunately he goes down. We've got a decent look here at the Awami. Awami's actually turning in towards us, so this isn't going to do much of anything. Of course, we shatter 2 rounds, and we end up with 1 pin and 1 overpin. But look ahead. Our Awami friend has decided he has chosen death. Why has he chosen death? Because he has torpedoes. Or because he's in a Yamato Hull battleship and he thinks that he can just bully people. I don't know which. You guys will have to let me know. But how many times do I have to say, if you're in especially in a Yamato class hull battleship, this is never going to be in your favor. I will depth strike you every goddamn time you do this. There is no surviving that. You will never live to get those torps away. But you can see we get a decent angle here against the New Jersey as well. Our secondaries, look at the damage these secondaries doing. That's a fucking Iowa-class battleship, and these secondaries are just chewing him apart. Now, don't forget, we do have a second destroyer here, and that destroyer is going to push forward. Now, you can see I smoke up here thinking that maybe I can get outside of the guaranteed acquisition range, but he does turn towards us. But that opens him up as well and allows him to be targeted by our destroyer. We're going to aim superstructure. We get a very nice hit there, 6 overpins, and then he just gets absolutely yeeted by our Yugamo. We're up to 121,000 damage in this ship, and we're having a pretty solid game, but there is more work to be done. This game is far from over. They still have their carrier. We know roughly where their carrier is, and we still have the opportunity to hopefully help take out some battleships. Now, if you look on the minimap, there's actually a Yamato or a Musashi going around through the gap right behind me right now, and I did not see it coming. Iwami fortunately shooting HE at us because Japanese mission for all that, they're still not done with them apparently. So whatever, I'll take it. Anytime a Japanese battleship has my broadside and they want to shoot HE, I'm all down for it. Go for it. Go for it. But you can see Musashi, unfortunately, I check a little too late. He gets away. We're up to 12 planes shot down. We're trying to get out of the way. He is going to get his drop, and he is going to catch us with 1 here. We do have a damage con ready just in case it did cause a flood, but it doesn't. So we're going to let this fire burn because we do have 2 more heals. The one good thing about this thing is you have a crap ton of heals. You get 6 heals with this thing, with the build that we were running. So that's good news, right? But we're going to push around this island and get bow in to the enemy. Now, we do have 1 more smoke screen, but it doesn't come back for quite a while. And so we're going to have to deal with this freaking carrier for a little while. 14 planes have been shot down. We've got 105 secondary hits, and we're up to 123,000 damage. And this is, again, I haven't tried the epic secondary mod on this thing yet. So, again, it only procs for every 30,000 damage. You can see I'm checking over my shoulder, just making sure I don't have a shot at the Musashi. Of course, these are very fast shell velocities, so they tend to be a really straight, flat arc. And here, I'm going to make a mistake. All right, I should not have closed any further than this. You know what you're going to be up against, right? You know that the Iwami is going to try to torp you. It's guaranteed. It's what they do. But you get overconfident, you try to put yourself in a position, and I want to use the island cover to approach because I have a feeling the guy's going to do the exact same thing that the last Iwami did. It's like a cancer, right? People cannot help but just go full broadside to get their torpedoes off when they have them. It's obnoxiously hilarious because as long as it's the enemy, I don't care. Go ahead. Go ahead and come around the corner full broadside. There we get to slap the Musashi in the mouth, take a good chunk off of him, showcasing these guns are very good, and I think these guns could be quite good in a accuracy build. But, again, we went for the memes, went for the secondaries, tried to get up close and personal. And here you can see we're about to be loaded. We are detected by the Pobeda. Surprise, surprise. But we have him spotted due to proximity. And then we take the shot here. We aim a water line, and he somehow does not get dev struck. How? Please explain how that was not a dev strike. Now here, Pobeta's going to hit us. He's going to get a flood. We're going to turn in, and unfortunately, we're going to take 2 torpedoes. Thought I was going to only take 1 there. Thought I'd survive, maybe get another reload off. And then we could maybe use the rear guns to shoot the carrier, but unfortunately not to be the case. But we did manage to get a clear skies before it was over. So we end up with a Confederate high cal, dev strike, and a clear skies with 21 planes shot down, 111 secondary hits, 7 citadels in this fight. And we all know, in our heart of hearts, that that second Awami should be dead right now. Like, y'all know it, I know it, everybody knows it, that Awami should be dead. But the good news is, we held our cap. The enemy is completely out of play. They're not in a position to capture the base. We've held long enough. 4 minutes left in this fight. We have held long enough to make this an actual possibility. All my team has to do is not throw this game away. Now notice our carrier hasn't done anything in terms of trying to get away from these guys. He's had these guys spotted for how long? And he is not doing it. He's reversing. Our destroyer is going to make one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen in my life. And this just comes down, and I'm not hating on the guy, okay? We all make stupid plays once in a while. You see it, I see it. That play right there that I made on that Awami probably could have been considered stupid. I should have kept my distance a little bit, give myself a little bit more room to squeeze in between the torpedoes that were obviously going to come. Now, obviously, he does get a torp hit right there. We saw it hit the side of the ship. And so at this point, I'm thinking, okay, we've got a chance. He is going to reverse. The battleship's going to overrun the island. They're going to play a little bit of hard to get, right? A little cat and mouse. The battleship can easily kill this guy with 1 salvo. The destroyer starts to drop smoke, and he's going to try to turn and go the opposite direction of the battleship. Nothing wrong with that. Have no problem with that. You've got an island. Use it to keep yourself away from the battleship. You have the speed and the agility to get away from them. You still have a Pobeta to worry about, so you don't want to get spotted. But if that happens, there's nothing he can really do about it. It's going to happen. But hopefully we shot down enough planes to at least give him a chance. But here you're going to see the carrier's going to continue to harass this rune. Our battleship probably has had the worst RNG of his life. But carrier is going to land a hit here, I think, on the torpedo. Maybe not. Okay, apparently the rune slipped in between them. But the next shot from the battleship is actually going to be a pretty good one here. You're going to see a good chunk of his health disappear. But look at how much health this guy has. What has he done? Like, he has spent the entire time hiding next to the carrier for the entire game. Now, obviously, there have been a couple of people come after him, which is fine. So he has done a little bit of work. Helped get rid of the destroyer, probably. He's going to be able to help get rid of the rune. He helped get rid of the Musashi after we took all the help. So again, not hating, just pointing out the fact that sometimes you got to use your hit points a little bit more. You're in a battleship, there is no reason for you to be 20 kilometers away from everything. You haven't tried to capture a base, you've just been in reverse this entire time. But he gets a good salvo against the rune. The rune is now a one-shot kill. He should be able to kill him on his next reload, no problem. And just as we look away from the rune and the Izumo, he's going to actually finish him off. So that shot was a solid one. But you can see here, the skip bombs were terrible. Like, the guy legitimately, like, whiffed on those skip bombs. Sometimes, as a carrier player, you get a little, and I know I'm, like, the worst carrier player on the planet, but sometimes you need to just fly over the target, come back, and make a good drop. Make every drop count, because every time you swing and miss like that, especially with the Russians, where they attack with the entire squadron every time, you're just hurting yourself in the long run. But here, instead of just using the island to stay away from the battleship, he's going to reverse right into him. Not only that, but he's also reversing right into the way of the torpedo. And then he stops right in front of it. It's like, what are you doing? He got so lucky to not hit that torpedo right there. The battleship fires his guns a little early, otherwise this Yukumo's dead right here. And so he gets around the corner. The battleship does land another shot. He's got no chance to torp this guy right here. The guy's through the gap. Right? He would have been better off, if that was his plan, to go straight around the island and torp that way, because then he'd have been able to get a better angle of those torps through that gap to try to torp the guy. Now, in the end, it doesn't matter. We were able to keep the caps for a long freaking time, thanks to us capturing the base early in the match and holding it for as long as possible. We give our team the best chance to win. despite their best efforts to try to throw this, we managed to pull it off. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. This is why I have such a high win rate in the ship. It's not that it's an amazing ship or anything like that. It can be fun if you get those secondaries rolling, or it can be incredibly frustrating. But it tends to be in a position to help the team win. And that's why this one and the Schlieffen have a very high win rate right now. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.